What's going on, everyone? Turbocharged Hobbies here, and yes, it has been a while since I've posted yet again. Um, Honestly, it's been about 4 months ever since I came back from Beat the Creek. Just to be honest, I really haven't been getting out a whole lot and running the RCs. Did get the bomber out once in the last few months. The only RC I've really been running on the regular or every few weeks is just my SCX 24. I compete in a little local comp, so I've still been running that. But even though I haven't been running the RCs as much, I have acquired a few more RCs since the last video. So I kind of wanted to do just a little channel update, kind of go over some of the things I recently picked up. Also got a whole skew of parts here for the SCX6. So I don't know, depending on how this goes, we may install these on camera, or I may just hurry up, knock it out off camera, and then maybe just kind of touch base on some of the things. But I would definitely like to show whatever damage I find, because I have not tore into this since Beat the Creek. So if you've seen that video, it ended up, I got it hung up in between a stump and a tree, and I didn't think it was pinched as hard as it was, but it was really bound up, and I'm pretty sure I chipped a tooth in the rear diff, which I still ran it the rest of the day, done fine. But we are going to be upgrading it. I have the 1.5 mod gears. We're going to do, not sure if it's overdrive or underdrive, whichever. All that matters is the front is going to be overdriven, which is, the tires are going to spin a little bit faster than the rear, which will really help when you're going up a steep climb, because if your rear tires have a lot of traction and they're spinning the same speed, it's going to want to make the truck tip back. So we'll do that, see how I like that. And I need to replace, I broke the panhard mount on it. Done fine the whole time it Beat the Creek on all the trails, besides the having the issue with the diff, which, like I said, I did continuously drive the truck after that with no issues. It just, you can hear it making a little bit of a noise in the rear. But I got home, was trying to get the truck clean. As you can see here, move all these parts. The truck is dirty. I haven't even cleaned it, and I was trying to get the truck cleaned up a little bit. It had been raining a lot when Beat the Creek was going on, so when I got home here, we had quite a bit of water down here in this ditch. So I was just trying to drive it through, try to get it a little bit cleaned up, because, living in an apartment makes it kind of hard to clean these up when they get super dirty like this. I mean, yes, I could put it in the bathtub, which I have done, before in the past, but it makes such a mess, such a pain to clean out afterwards. So I typically don't really like getting the RCs muddy. If you notice, most of my stuff stays fairly clean. But, Beat the Creek, it was mud everywhere, and, it was fun. I mean, I like playing in the mud. It's just hard on bearings and stuff. And then when you're someone like me that makes the mistake, or I don't even know if it's a mistake. I knew what I was doing. I was being lazy, but I got home from Beat the Creek, and as you can see, it's, I haven't cleaned it up. I haven't gone through it. I haven't done anything to it since then. So not really sure if I'm going to find any issues. I'm hoping all my bearings and stuff are good. I actually have a trip coming up in a few days, so that's why I need to try to get all this stuff installed. But moving on from that, as you can see, we got a few RCs here. So this one, I want to do some videos on soon, but this is the Vanquish H10 Optic. My wife actually got this for me and surprised me with it. And so far, I mean, I love this truck. It's very capable if you know how to drive it. Can't technically drive it like a traditional crawler. It's something you want to, it's more of like a momentum based crawler. So it's something you want to drive more like I would with the bomber. You want to try to get a little bit more momentum coming up on some of the climbs, but it will pull some gnarly lines. I've seen some people saying, oh, it's all right, but it don't do that great crawling. but I climbed some gnarly stuff and made some lines that just had people amazed that pretty much a box stock truck would do it. The only thing that I done whenever I was hitting these lines with my friend from the comp group is I had the wheels and tires off of my Ford Ice on there, which they were a little bit shorter, but it has the weighted, the brass weights in the front, plus it has the Vanquish Stage 2 foams in them. So that made a difference. Here, I'll show you real quick. Lighting's not very great, but there you can see the wheels that I was running on it. But yeah, I'm very happy with this truck so far. I have seen, you know, people are having issues with the diffs. I do plan to put a brushless system and, you know, probably do the whole nines with that. It's going to get some Vanquish wheels and stuff. I'm still very torn if I want to do 2.2s with some stretched 1.9 tires, or if I want to stay 1.9. I'll figure that out eventually, but there will be more stuff to come on this soon. So I'll just move this out of the way. So I did pick up a few T-Maxes. You can see here, this one is a Dynamite big block kit. It's got the big red big block on it. I don't know a whole lot about the you know, I'm pretty good with the T-Max stuff, but when it comes as far as like the aftermarket chassis, I didn't do a lot of messing. You know, I had some T-Maxes, but I didn't do a whole lot of aftermarket stuff. It's more in the E-Maxes where I, you know, got into the aftermarket chassis and all that stuff. But this one, it needs a little bit of stuff. One issue that I've ran into is with the mount and stuff. Hopefully you can see that. But the crankshaft here, when it's bolted in, it's actually hitting on the case. So I don't know if I need to trim some of that off, but trying to figure out exactly what I need to do to get this set up to work. But this should all work together, but there's not a whole lot of information out there. When you look up, you know, stuff about the Dynamite big block kit, you don't really see a whole lot of stuff. But it's a decent kit. It needs some finishing touches. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got wide arms on the front and rear, but it has the old style knuckles on the front and then the updated newer style knuckles, and you can see the difference. Even though the arms are the same length front and rear, the track width is wider in the rear because of these knuckles. So that's why, like, you have to be careful when you're buying CVDs. If you have the wide arm set up, you need the newer style knuckles with all the newer CVDs, or you have to make sure it's like this style, which these, you know, for the wide arm and the old style knuckle are getting pretty hard to find. I mean, a lot of the stuff for the T-Max is getting more and more rare, just not seeing the parts come up like they used to. And I also got this chassis, yet again, you know, I know very minimum about it, but I do know it is a TJ chassis, TJ Racing. I don't know if you're going to be able to, let me get you over here where you got a little more light. I do have the lower chassis brace for this. I got, actually with these two trucks, I got a lot of parts. I got a whole bag of a bunch of nitro engines that's all apart, and then parts to help finish up the TJ Racing chassis. You can see here. This is some of it. HPI engines. Just a ton of just random parts and pieces. Let's see. Here's more. see, it is just transmission, aluminum knuckles for the old style, arms. I mean, it's just a ton of stuff. I really need to start tearing into them. I have had the big block, the big red running. And here's the chassis rails, or the chassis braces. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's got a screw broken off, so I'm going to have to mess with getting that out. But I know it's a pretty rare chassis. I actually seen someone in one of the T-Max groups looking for one recently. I don't know if they were wanting this particular one because they had a couple different chassis designs. But that's that. And now, the last two ones I've just recently added. Let me move them back out of the way. So I got two of these. So if you actually go back on the channel and if you look at the oldest video I have on the channel still currently, it is with a Losi MRC Pro. So these are pretty rare. And I've been looking for one for a while and they just don't come up very often. I got really lucky. I found this, found this one first. And it's nicely set up. It's got the old school Novak Mongoose crawler brushless ESC in it with the Novak 380 motor. I mean, it's really nice. As you can see, like, hardly no scratches. The only scratches really on it, I put them on. But, I mean, this truck just has a special place in my heart because my first truck I ever got, you know, crawler-wise, was a Losi MRC. What I ended up getting was the ready-to-run version. So, as you see, this one, it has the carbon fiber chassis with the aluminum shocks. It has the factory 4-link. I mean, these were set up. So, got this one, which come like this. I haven't done anything. I've ran it a little bit, and I forgot just how capable these little things are. They're just so much fun to run. Then, this one come up on eBay, and I couldn't pass it up. A lot of that because it came with the box. I mean, that was important to me. I just wanted to have, you know, it's cool. I got boxes for several of the RCs. You know, most of the stuff I bought new, I've kept the box. I don't, something stupid, but I kind of like having it. I got all the paperwork and everything with this. So if you don't know or you don't remember, this originally come out, I think, around 2009. I know that this is the 2009 World Championship chassis, so it may have been like 2010. But I was just so happy to be able to get one in the box. Like I said, I had the ready-to-run version, but I swapped everything out to the Pro. Back then, it was easy to find the chassis on eBay. You could find the 4-link mounts for it. And I upgraded it, you know, everything to make it pretty much a Pro. You know, had the shocks and all that. And whenever I got my Bomber, which was my first 1/10 scale, I really stopped running the minis, and then I ended up trading it off, and I regretted, you know, doing that ever since. So I'm glad I got these two, and I'm not going to be getting rid of these. I'm going to keep these and not make that mistake again. But I think what I'm wanting to do, I'd like to make one just to be like a box, you know, shelf queen. Maybe go with the box art. if I can find the body. You know, finding anything for these is hard. This one here has, what is it? It's this Sidewinder Micro, which is a non-censored ESC. You know, obviously with crawling, you want a censored system unless you're running something like an Outrunner. So I'm going back and forth because this one, it's censored and stuff, and this one works great. Crawls amazing. This one, a little coggy, but I'm trying to figure out what to put in here because obviously it's not a whole lot of systems set up for this, especially if you look at the 1/18 today. You know, you compare like, you know, the TRX 4M, which is supposed to be 1/18 scale. It's a lot smaller than this. And when you start looking up brushless systems, that's what it pulls up as stuff for them and for these. So I'm not really sure exactly what I'm going to put in here, but I'd like to put something nice. I kind of thought about putting the low-C system in it, which they're pretty hard to find as well. But I want to make one really nice and not run it, and I want to have one that I want to run. I want to do the overdrive mod for the front. So that's one of the mods I remember from back in the day. You use a mini E-Revo, I think ring gear, or it may just be the pinion, or maybe both. I'll have to look into it. It's been a while since I've done it. That is one thing I'd like to do with this one. So probably also get some different tires, which these tires do work great, but they wear down. Like my last one, you can see in the videos I have of my first one, like at the end, the tires, they were bald. Like these, it's the only RC tires I think I've had that I've actually wore out to where they were like slicks almost. Think I want to go with some Rovers for it. Surprisingly, you can still find them, which I was amazed by that because that's an old tire. No one really runs a 1.9, you know, this small. Because if you compare this to like a 1.9 from a scale truck, you can see like it's way bigger. So that's these. So now I guess I'm going to start tearing into the SCX6. I think I'm going to pause the camera, get it up here and kind of get set up and figure out if I want to try to film it or if I just want to knock it out and then talk about it afterwards. So I will see you guys in a little bit. So real quick before I grab the SCX6, give you another little up close shot and let you see the second truck here and get a little better look at it. You can see it's in really good shape. So, and want to let everyone get a little close look at the box just in case you ain't never seen one. Kind of get the opportunity to look at it here. Let me flip this up. The lighting will be better. See, there's the system I was thinking about trying to put in it. And one last thing that I want to correct because it's going to drive me nuts, and I ain't filming the whole thing over. I kept calling it a TJ chassis. We're not talking Jeeps here. It's a TJ, which is still a Jeep. I kept calling it a TJ. It's a JT. I mean, gosh, see, I guess I just keep thinking Jeeps. JT Racing. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know it's a lightweight chassis made for racing. But I had to say something about that because that was going to drive me nuts that I kept calling it the wrong thing. I guess I'm dyslexic. I don't know. But we're going to throw the SCX6 up here. I'm going to start tearing into that, and then I'll be back with you all shortly. Kind of exactly what I was afraid of. She got a little rust. I did end up chipping. Let me find it. All right. You see it? Right there. Yeah, I should have probably pulled it apart a little sooner than waiting 4 months. But I kind of had a feeling it wasn't going to be good when I started noticing how bad the diffs are actually leaking out. Not really sure that just happens on all of them, but still got to tear into the front. Hopefully my housing is okay, because I've heard people claim that if you break a tooth and you keep running it, that it ends up messing the casing up. It ends up kind of stretching it out, which it didn't break real bad. I mean, let me find it again. Looks like it may have broke there. Is that it? I guess. Yeah, just right there. It's hard to see, but luckily I bought new diffs and the gears, so we're going to get them installed. And then I guess I'll come back after that, because this is going to take me a little bit longer, and it's kind of hard to try to film with this truck with it being so big, trying to find somewhere to set my camera up to where you can actually see what's going on. So we'll go through, get this cleaned up, do the best I can with the bearings. Luckily the diff bearings, I mean, they got a little surface rust, but they're nothing wrong with them. Like, they spin freely. So I'm going to just end up running the bearings through my cleaner there, my ultrasonic cleaner, oil them up well, and hopefully it'll be good for my trip. But I'll be back to finish out the video here in a little bit. Talk to y'all then. Alright, I'm back. Got everything knocked out. Yes, it's the same day. Yes, I have a different shirt on. Ended up getting ultrasonic cleaner all on my shirt, and I didn't feel like doing a whole video, big wet spot in my shirt. I mean, I tried to do a video with the big wet spot until I rewatched the video. I'm like, yeah, that's too distracting. So here we are again. Gonna wrap everything up now that I've got this stuff knocked out. So to begin, I'll say, don't be like me. Don't wait. Because I pulled the diffs apart and they obviously did not look great. The rust, I mean, I had 2 or 3 bearings that were seized. Luckily, my ultrasonic cleaner was able to get them cleaned up to where they'll start working. They feel a little rough, but they should get me through at least this week whenever I make my trip out to the Smoky Mountains. We'll see. We'll go from there. I may end up just getting a whole bearing kit for it. I mean, the transmission, I know the transmission needs to come apart. It sounds a little rough, but hopefully this will get me through for now. So, real quick, I know most of you all, if you're still watching, more than likely you're a crawler guy, so you probably know, but I want to just do a little visual explanation of what the overdrive is. So, like I said before, the overdrive makes the front spin slightly faster than the rear, which helps the front grip up when you're going up like a steep incline. So, got the tires here marked, and you'll be able to see once I hit the gas, the front is spinning, a decent little amount faster than the rear. So, can't wait to see how it drives with that. Plus, I added the brass dip cover up front. So, we'll see how it does, how it handles this weekend. I mean, this is one of my favorite crawlers. I mean, yes, they are very expensive. I mean, upgrades are expensive, you know, but I done the servo and the servo tray and let's see what else I do. Servo tray, and I think panhard mount, or no, I done the towers. That was like $700, almost $800 just for that stuff. And now I just done the diffs. So I done the 1.5 Vidavon diffs and the drive shafts for the front axle and brass tilled diff cover for the front, and and then the knuckles, the Vidavon knuckles and stuff. So all that stuff was another $700. So stuff adds up fast, but it's such a different experience from driving a 1/10 truck. Like, this is the places you can go and the climbs you can make. It's a ton of fun. So grab the camera here and let you get an up close look of the truck, because I haven't really done a video like this showing it. But NSD RC RS 2500 V2 servo. You got your V2 Vidavon mount or servo tray. Then you can see the Vidavon towers, front and rear. Got the Baja Pro X Proline tires with the beef tube bead locks. I love the look of these. Comes with the scale hardware when you buy them. And in the front here, you can see, got my C hubs, my knuckles. All that's Vidavon Trill brass diff cover. And then I got the Vidavon diff cover in the rear. I would have done Vidavon in the front, but their brass diff cover for the front only fits their aluminum axle. So just a little quick explanation of the truck. Put the camera back up here. I'm going to try my best to do better about getting some content out and filming. I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I haven't really been putting anything out. I mean, I haven't even really been posting much on like Instagram or Facebook either, because I just haven't really been messing with them as much. And I think a lot of that is I have ADHD. I think I've ever really talked about it in a video, but you know, one of the things with having ADHD is you kind of bounce from, you know, one interest to another, and I'm guilty of that. I get hardcore into the RCs for a while, and it's not even that I get burnt out, it's just that I'd rather do something else. It's, you know, it's like I still have an interest in running RCs lately. I just haven't, there's been other stuff I'd rather do versus, you know, getting them out. I've been really getting into gaming again here lately, been playing a lot of PlayStation 5. And doing some Grand Theft Auto and some Gran Turismo 7. But I want to get back into doing stuff with the RCs and putting some content up with them. I mean, I keep adding and growing the collection. Like, I need to get out and play with them more, which I was getting them out a lot there for a while. I've just slowed down the last few months. So I'm going to do my best to get some more content up and be better about not, you know, going so long in between my videos. So if you've watched all the way to the end, just know I greatly appreciate you. It means the world to me. I'm just your average regular guy. I'm no one special. I'm no expert in any of this. I'm just trying to share my adventures and help people along the way. So I appreciate everyone watching. If you could, just give me a like or a comment. You know, let me know, is there anything you want to see? And until next time, y'all have a good one. Peace.